Dear Chosen One, before we dive into this powerful message, I want to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to those who have shown their support through super thanks. Your kindness fuels us, and we are truly grateful for every single contribution, whether you donate or not. You are the reason we continue to bring you content that inspires, uplifts, and empowers. Your support makes all the difference, and we are honored to have you as part of this amazing community. Before we move further, take a second to leave the number 999 in the comments. Each time more chosen ones see this, we amplify our collective power. Every interaction signals the platform that this message needs to spread. This is how our community grows. This is how we rise. The world is uneasy around chosen ones, not because of what's obvious, but because of what it can't contain. Have you ever felt that subtle shift when you walk into a room? When you're chosen, you become a ripple in the system, a presence that defies prediction or control. You walk into a place and the energy changes. You exist and illusions start crumbling. That's why they lash out. That's why they murmur behind your back. They believe that if they pile on enough doubt, enough conflict, and enough pressure, you'll collapse. But let's be clear, a chosen one cannot be shattered. Why do you think they try so hard to make you question yourself? You were designed to outlast the turbulence, to rise when others remain down, and to carry a power that refuses to bend. Yet, here you stand, questioning yourself, doubting your own brilliance, second-guessing your unique calling, wondering if you might be ordinary. How dare you doubt the gift placed within you? How dare you act like you're alone when every force around you is working in your favor? Your adversaries aren't just coming for you, they're challenging the energy that formed you. Their struggle was already lost the moment you were chosen. They're hoping you react, that you waste your time proving your worth, that you get pulled into their chaos. But why would you waste your energy on something already decided? The mightiest warrior never fights battles that are already won. You don't clash with those who can't affect your path. You don't answer to those who hold no real weight in your journey. Your quietness will cut deeper than their loud accusations. Your very presence becomes their torment because they can't stop you. They can't unbalance you, and no matter their attempts, they can't erase what the universe has set in motion. What if your mere presence is enough to dismantle their plans? You don't need to wrestle with them. Your only requirement is to fully become who you are. The instant you do, you'll watch them vanish. Not because you forced them to go, but because they cannot remain where a greater power stands. Have you ever wondered how much power is in simply being yourself? The weak always fade when something undeniable steps forward. So straighten up and hold your head high. Let them watch, let them gossip, let them plot. Why does it feel so liberating when you stop worrying about their opinions? None of it matters the moment you grasp your own strengths. They're already gone. For you, the one who was never meant to blend in, the one built to ascend, consider this your signal. If you can sense the spark, if you notice that wave of change, you're right where you need to be. Now, let's dive in further, step by step. If you're truly a chosen one, you'll feel the pull. You won't be able to stop reading. A true leader doesn't argue with those who lack wisdom. The throne speaks on its own. God's chosen ones, it's time to end every enemy for good. Karma will finish them off. Chosen one, they yelled. They flung everything at you. Falsehoods, suspicions, diversions, hoping something would cling, hoping they could rattle you. But the second you refuse to engage, they lose. Power isn't about who's loudest, it's about who carries the greatest presence. As God's chosen ones, we understand the immense power that lies in stillness and restraint. The world may throw everything at us, false accusations, doubts, distractions, hoping something will stick. But When we remain unshaken, refusing to engage in their chaos, they lose. It's not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about carrying the greatest presence, the presence of peace and unwavering conviction in God's truth. How often do we find ourselves caught in the noise of the world, trying to prove something to others? But what if the true power lies in simply being still? Think of Martin Luther King Jr., a man who, despite facing violence and hatred, never responded in kind. His strength was in his peaceful resistance, his quiet confidence in the righteousness of his cause. King's leadership transformed nations, showing us that true power doesn't come from shouting the loudest. It comes from staying calm and firm in your purpose. Could it be that the most impactful leaders are those who are quiet in their resolve, yet loud in their actions? The world's battles are never truly against us. They are against universal order, against God's will. For the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds. 2 Corinthians 10:4. Those who seek to disrupt the balance that God has established will ultimately fall, because the divine order is unshakable. People often act as if they despise us, but if we look deeper, we realize they fear us, not because of our actions, but because of the presence we carry. The moment we enter a room, we shift the atmosphere. We don't need to prove anything, we simply are, and that's enough to unsettle those around us. What is it about our presence that makes others so uncomfortable? Could it be that we carry something they can never possess? Oprah Winfrey is a modern example of someone who carries this presence. Despite facing many personal and professional challenges, she exudes confidence and resilience that cannot be shaken. Oprah never needed to prove her worth to anyone. Her success spoke for itself. Like the chosen ones, she moved forward with purpose, and her very presence made those who doubted her uncomfortable. The enemy's assault feels personal because, at a deep level, they understand they can never truly touch us. They can try to manipulate, deceive, and set traps, but they can't break us. Why? Because their biggest fear isn't our failure, it's our success. Why do you think they invest so much energy trying to bring you down? Could it be that your success is the one thing they cannot stand? Take the example of Steve Jobs, whose success in revolutionizing technology wasn't a result of engaging in petty battles. Despite being ousted from the very company he founded, Jobs returned with even greater vision and resilience. His story is a reminder that when we remain focused on our true calling, the world's attacks cannot touch us. Karma, or divine justice, ensures that our success is the greatest retaliation against those who try to tear us down. Isn't it incredible how those who try to destroy you often end up paving the way for your success? Look at Thomas Edison, who faced countless failures and criticisms before he finally invented the light bulb. He didn't waste time engaging with his critics. Instead, he continued to work relentlessly towards his goal. Edison's journey is a reminder that true success is the best form of justice, showing the world that nothing can stand in the way of God's plan for us. You don't need to fight for justice. The universe, in accordance with God's will deliver it for you. And while they try to figure out your next move, you remain impossible to predict. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. The true chosen one moves forward with purpose, unaffected by the noise of others. Your absence from the chaos is what haunts them. As we witness the downfall of those who oppose us, we realize that our greatest form of revenge is success. We didn't need to engage in the battle, they've already lost. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. 1 John 4:4. And in the end, you stand tall, unshaken, because you were never their competition. You were always meant for something greater. Chosen one, the sun doesn't say sorry for giving off heat. It simply shines. You don't even have to raise your hand or speak a single word. Your mere existence is enough to unsettle them. As God's chosen ones, Our very presence is a force of nature, much like the sun, which doesn't apologize for shining brightly. We don't have to do anything special to unsettle those around us. Our energy, our existence alone, is enough to shift the atmosphere in any space. But why does our presence make others so uneasy? Could it be that they see something in us they will never have, something that threatens everything they believe about themselves? When we walk into a room, everything changes. Our presence is felt even before we speak, and the energy shifts. Those who are insecure or have ulterior motives can sense it. Have you ever noticed how some people react to you without you saying a word? Could it be that the very essence of your being exposes their weaknesses? In the Bible, Jesus tells us in Matthew 5:14, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden." Our light, just like the sun's, is undeniable. No matter how much others try to dim it, the light of God's chosen can never be extinguished. Consider the story of Lady Diana, whose presence captivated the world, not because she sought attention, but because of the grace she carried. She didn't need to prove herself to anyone. Her very existence and the kindness she radiated were enough. People were both drawn to her and intimidated by her, much like how others react to the presence of a chosen one. Her power came from her ability to simply be, and that frightened many. They attempt to criticize, to twist your image, to make you seem smaller than you are, but this is only because they are terrified of your light. Why do they focus so much energy on trying to tear you down? Could it be that deep down, they know they can never be like you? A truly powerful person wouldn't spend their time plotting against someone else. A lion doesn't stay awake pondering a sheep's thoughts. This is a reminder that those who seek to destroy us have already lost. Their actions only reveal their insecurity. Instead of building something of their own, they spend their time trying to diminish others. The more they focus on you, the less they can build for themselves. In Psalm 37, 1-2, we are reminded, "Do not fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong. For like the grass they will soon wither, like green plants they will soon die away." The universe is always working in our favor, and those who try to undermine us will ultimately fall short. Why do we waste so much time worrying about the actions of others when God's plan for us is already in motion? Look at the life of Ellen DeGeneres, who, despite facing criticism and personal attacks, continued to rise above and thrive. She didn't engage in the negativity around her. Instead, she focused on spreading positivity and kindness. Ellen's success didn't come from battling her critics, but from standing firm in her own truth, showing that those who try to tear us down are merely projecting their own insecurities. They want to manipulate you, to bend you to their will, but the wind cannot be enclosed. The Spirit blows where it pleases. John 3:8. Just like the wind, you cannot be controlled or confined. The more they try to change you, the more they reveal how powerless they are. You stand solid like a mountain while they wish for you to crumble. Consider Beyoncé, who is often scrutinized and criticized, yet remains an unstoppable force in the entertainment industry. Despite the noise, she continues to rise, unwavering in her purpose. She doesn't need to defend herself or explain her actions. Her success speaks for itself, and her critics only expose their own jealousy and bitterness. Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Galatians 6:7. The traps they set for you are actually catching them. Every false story, every insult only serves to reveal their true character. Why do you think they keep attacking you, even though it only harms them in the end? Could it be that they are self-destructing right before your eyes? Observe how they flounder, overthinking, desperately trying to figure you out. You don't have to do anything. They are sabotaging themselves, and they don't even realize it. As God's chosen, you don't need to chase after your enemies. They reveal themselves. Just by existing, you force them to confront their own lack. The more they focus on you, the less they can accomplish in their own lives, and soon everyone else notices too. What do you think it means when someone spends so much time obsessing over someone else's life, rather than focusing on their own? Could this be a sign that they have nothing else of value to offer? They were never your real competition. A precious jewel doesn't beg for attention. Just like that jewel, you don't have to explain why you are invaluable. You don't need to argue your worth. You simply are, and that alone drives them mad. Isn't it interesting that the more you stand in your power, the more they expose their own weaknesses? The universe has already shielded you, chosen you for something greater. For the Lord will vindicate his people and have compassion on his servants. Psalm 135:14. The more they push, the more they lose. Your victory is already certain, not because you engage in their games, but because you remain untouchable. And that, more than anything, terrifies them. Chosen one, whoever controls your emotions holds control over you. When you refuse to engage, when you offer them nothing, they starve. What does it say about them when they rely so heavily on your reactions to fuel their existence? Could it be that they are simply incapable of thriving without feeding off others? Look at the example of Mahatma Gandhi, who faced constant pressure and provocation during India's fight for independence. He did not retaliate with anger or violence, but chose non-violent resistance, showing the world that real power lies in self-control and peace. They assumed you'd chase them, justify yourself, or at least explain your actions. But you didn't. You quietly distanced yourself, and now they're scrambling, trying to figure out how they lost their grip on you. How do you think it feels for those who thought they could manipulate you, only to find that you've grown stronger by detaching emotionally? In 1 Peter 5:7, we are urged to cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. When we stop seeking validation from others, we free ourselves from their grip. Their attempts to manipulate us become useless when we no longer let their words or actions dictate our emotions. Consider Ellen DeGeneres, who faced a great deal of criticism over the years, but remained steadfast in her values and her approach to life. She chose not to explain herself to anyone, and her quiet confidence allowed her to rise above the attacks. The more they hurl insults and words like daggers hoping to make you bleed, the more you stay unshaken. Once you stopped needing their validation, you became their biggest worry. You don't flinch at their insults. You don't fall apart without them. What does it say about someone when they can't stand to see you remain unshaken, even in the face of their attacks? They never expected you to grow strong enough to leave them behind. But look at you now, unfazed while they unravel under the weight of their own schemes. Isn't it powerful to know that when we don't engage in their drama, we allow them to implode? Could this be the true secret of strength? The ability to remain calm while others destroy themselves. Take the example of Oprah Winfrey, who faced constant scrutiny throughout her career. Despite the criticism, she never faltered in her journey. She didn't waste time justifying herself or responding to negativity. Instead, Oprah continued to shine, showing the world that when you remain true to yourself, nothing can shake your foundation. Why do you think people like Oprah succeed, even when faced with so much criticism? Could it be because they know that their value isn't tied to the opinions of others? The more they tried to provoke you, the more you stood firm. They wanted to keep you tangled in their drama, but you chose to rise above it. Romans 8:31 reminds us, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" When we choose to remain grounded in our purpose, we stop being moved by the noise of those around us. Their efforts to manipulate us become irrelevant. You don't have to justify your worth. You don't need to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. What does it mean when you stand firm in your authenticity, unshaken by the opinions of others? Could it be that by simply existing in your true form, you force others to confront their own insecurities? A chosen one doesn't linger where they're drained. A chosen one doesn't justify their own value. A chosen one keeps going, unshaken and unstoppable, no matter the noise. And here's a hidden truth. Chosen one, they don't truly hate you. They envy you. It's important to realize that those who appear to be your enemies aren't really your enemies at all. They envy you. They envy the clarity you possess, the strength that keeps you grounded through every challenge they set before you. They wish they could stand as strong as you without the crippling need for others' approval. But instead of learning from your example, they choose to tear you down because for them it's easier to destroy than to improve. Why do you think it is that some people find it easier to attack rather than elevate themselves? Could it be that envy blinds them from seeing the potential for growth within themselves? A gemstone doesn't apologize for its brilliance. A wildfire doesn't apologize for consuming what's dry. And you don't apologize for shining your light. In Matthew 5:16 we are told, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Your purpose is not to appease others' insecurities. It is to shine, to fulfill the calling placed upon you. How often do we find ourselves dimming our light to avoid making others uncomfortable? What if true power lies in shining even brighter in the face of those who try to dim us? A shadow cannot defeat the sun. It only proves the light is real. They tried to stop you, assumed their words, plots and petty games would be enough to make you fall. But have you ever realized that their attacks were never truly about you? Could it be that their envy is a reflection of their own inability to understand the depth of your purpose? You were never on the same field as them. They chase fleeting things, attention, approval and control, while you move with a higher calling. In Psalm 16:8 it says, "I keep my eyes always on the Lord. With him at my right hand, I will not be shaken." When you are grounded in your purpose and remain steadfast, nothing can shake you. Not the words of your enemies, not their schemes, not their bitterness. How can we stay focused on our mission when the world around us is full of distractions and negativity? Consider the story of Malala Yousafzai, who, despite being shot for advocating girls' education, refused to be silenced. Her enemies tried to destroy her, yet she rose above and continues to inspire millions around the world. How did Malala's courage in the face of violence show that even the fiercest attacks cannot stop someone with a higher purpose? You were never here for small, meaningless fights. You were created for something that stretches far beyond their grasp. Their hostility is fierce because every time they think they've cornered you, you continue to rise. Why do you think they can't understand your persistence? Could it be that their inability to stop you only deepens their sense of failure? They didn't realize that every attempt to bring you down only drained them. You never needed to engage them or prove anything to them. The instant you stopped giving them power, the instant you focused on your true path, they faded away. What happens when we stop engaging in battles that don't serve our purpose? Could it be that by simply staying focused, we allow our enemies to fall away on their own? Those who try to pull you down are just passing visitors in your story, footnotes in a book they'll never comprehend. You were created for greatness, and your mission will remain long after they are gone. What does it mean when we understand that our purpose is far greater than any obstacle or enemy in our path? Could it be that the enemies we face are just stepping stones leading us to a greater destiny? Chosen one, a wolf doesn't bark, it strikes. As God's chosen ones, we are not called to engage in meaningless noise or petty arguments. Like a wolf, we strike decisively and in silence. Our enemies often want to provoke us, to draw us into the fray with their words and actions, because they believe that by getting us to react, they gain control over our energy. When you withdraw and remain silent, they are left scrambling. What is it about silence that shakes them to their core? Could it be that silence forces them to confront their own weaknesses, and they are too afraid to face that truth? Silence is not weakness. It's a weapon that exposes the futility of their efforts. By remaining silent, you deny them the satisfaction of knowing they have any power over you. Look at the example of Nelson Mandela, who, despite spending 27 years imprisoned under harsh conditions, never let the system provoke him into hate or anger. His silence and restraint became his most powerful tool, and in the end, it was his silent strength that made him one of the most revered leaders in the world. How did Mandela's ability to remain calm and focused on his mission allow him to ultimately overcome his enemies? Could it be that when we stay silent, we demonstrate a higher level of authority and control over the situation? Take the example of Oprah Winfrey, who faced constant criticism and media attacks throughout her career. Despite the negativity, Oprah did not react with anger or defensiveness. She let her success and her commitment to positive change speak for themselves. Her silence in the face of adversity was a form of power, showing that she was not defined by the opinions of others. In Psalm 37:7, it says, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes." The Bible calls us to be still, to trust in God's plan, and to let him handle the battles that are not ours to fight. Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes of our time, faced countless criticisms and attacks on her character, her body, and her playstyle. Yet, she did not engage in their negativity. Instead, she let her actions on the court speak louder than any words. Her silence in the face of attacks became a testament to her strength. How did Serena Williams' silence and focus on her purpose allow her to overcome the critics and rise to the top of her sport? They wanted a drawn-out fight, but you gave them nothing. In the silence you created, they unraveled. What happens when we deny others the satisfaction of a reaction? Could it be that we disempower them by simply refusing to engage with their chaos? They expected your anger, but they were met with indifference. This indifference is the greatest form of retaliation. It renders their efforts meaningless. They resorted to guilt, tried to make you second-guess yourself, and used manipulation to try to pull you into their games. But you never took the bait. In Matthew 7:24, Jesus tells us, "Therefore everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock." By remaining firm, choosing silence, and standing in your truth, you build your life on the rock of God's word. The storms of manipulation and confusion will not move you. How often do we build our lives on the opinions of others, only to find that when those opinions change, we lose our foundation? What would happen if we built our lives solely on God's truth and stood firm in that? Chosen one, they want you to beg for their praise, to need them, but you won't. The truth is, your enemies can't stand that you don't need their validation, their praise, or their approval. They want you to beg for it, to seek their recognition, but you refuse. They want you to be swayed by their lies, intimidated by their rumors, and to shrink in the face of their intimidation. Yet you stay firm, unmoved by their accusations. They'll call you callous, say you've lost your compassion, accuse you of arrogance, and claim you think you're better than them. A lion doesn't concern itself with the thoughts of sheep. You were never meant to be subdued, to sit quietly in the shadows, or to be predictable. You were created to stand tall, to shine brightly, to be seen and heard. How often have you held yourself back to appease others, fearing that your full power would make them uncomfortable? Could it be that you've been conditioned to dim your light just so they could feel secure? In Proverbs 28:1, it says, "The wicked flee though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion." You are called to be bold, to stand in your truth, and to never apologize for your strength. They loathe you because they can't control you. They can't bend you to their will or manipulate you into being something you're not. You are a force they cannot contain. Take the example of Malala Yousafzai, who, after surviving an assassination attempt for advocating girls' education, continued to rise and speak her truth. She was unshaken by the threats and violence against her. How did Malala's courage and refusal to be silenced make her a beacon of hope for millions around the world? Could it be that by standing firm in her purpose, she defeated those who tried to suppress her voice? A lion behind bars remains a lion, but when it's unchained, it becomes a ruler. Why do you think they worked so hard to keep you caged? Could it be that they feared the moment you broke free and realized your true power? They bound you with invisible chains, doubt, fear, insecurity, convincing you that your strength could only exist if you followed their rules and sought their approval. They trained you to look for their acceptance, to wait for their green light, to believe that true strength comes only after the crowd grants it. But that was always a lie. How often have you found yourself waiting for permission to step into your full power? Could it be that true strength comes not from seeking approval, but from realizing that you already possess it? You were never meant to be contained, to shrink yourself to fit into their limited view of who you should be. The moment you decided you no longer needed their permission, that was the moment you broke free. In John 8:36 it says, "So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed." When you embrace the freedom that God has given you, there are no more chains, no more limitations. You are free to walk in your full power and purpose. You've sensed it, haven't you? That turning point, the moment you stopped waiting for others to validate you and realized that your power wasn't up for debate. Look around. The doubters have fallen silent. The ones who tried to control you are now scrambling, realizing it's too late. What happens when those who tried to control you realize they never truly had any power over you? Could it be that their power was an illusion all along, built on the strength they borrowed from your doubt? You were never meant to blend into the background, to shrink into the boxes they tried to put you in. Your purpose was always to break through those confines and walk freely in your true identity. Their reactions are all the same. They scramble to figure out how they lost the hold they thought they had on you. You see it now, don't you? They never truly had control. They only borrowed the power you unknowingly gave them. What happens when you take that power back and refuse to give it to anyone else? Could it be that your true strength lies in the ability to stand in your own authority without needing anyone's approval? Isaiah 61:1 tells us, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. You have been anointed for greatness, to break free from the chains that have held you, to tear down the limitations placed upon you by others." How often do we forget that the Spirit of the Lord equips us to walk in our full potential, regardless of what others think or say? The truth is, you were always meant to stand tall and walk freely. Now that you see it, there's no going back. Chosen one, a cracked mirror always blames its reflection. You may not realize it, but your very presence forces others to confront their own shortcomings, their wasted potential, and their deepest fears. They don't hate you because of anything you've done to them. They hate you because you are a mirror that they can't escape. Why do you think some people are so uncomfortable with the success or strength of others? Could it be that your very existence forces them to confront parts of themselves they'd rather ignore? The simple fact that you stand tall, unwavering and unshaken makes them uneasy. Every time you rise, you remind them of all the opportunities they let slip by, of the fears they chose to surrender to, and of the greatness they decided they were too small to pursue. They told themselves they were strong, yet the way you stand unshaken exposes their fragility. They told themselves they were unique, yet watching you move with purpose makes them realize how lost they are in their own repetitive cycle of indecision and stagnation. In 2 Corinthians 10:12, the Bible reminds us, "We do not dare to classify or compare ourselves with some who commend themselves. When they measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves with themselves, they are not wise." The world often compares itself to others, but the truly chosen ones know their value lies not in comparison, but in walking in the purpose and power God has set for them. You don't have to say a word for them to reveal themselves. What does it mean when your mere presence causes others to act defensively or aggressively? Could it be that your very existence forces them to face parts of themselves they're trying to ignore? Their bitterness, jealousy, and anger aren't about you at all. They're about the insecurities that your light brings to the surface. The more you shine, the more they are forced to face the darkness inside themselves that they have been hiding for so long. The people who despise you are not offended by what you've done. They are offended by what you represent, the life they could have had, the greatness they chose not to pursue, the potential they let slip through their fingers. In Proverbs 4:25-27, it says, "Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways." When you focus on your own path and refuse to engage in distractions, you allow your own purpose to lead the way, while others are left to battle their own inner demons. What happens when we stay focused on our purpose, undeterred by the opinions or attacks of others? Could it be that the more you walk in your purpose, the more those around you reveal their own struggles? They are so consumed with you because they cannot stand that you have achieved something they feel they are incapable of doing. Why do you think they are so obsessed with your success, even though they claim to not care about it? Could it be that by not reacting to their provocation, you are forcing them to acknowledge their own shortcomings? In Luke 6:22, Jesus reminds us, "Blessed are you when people hate you, when they exclude you and insult you, and reject your name as evil, because of the Son of Man." When you stand firm in your truth and walk in your purpose, you will inevitably face criticism from those who can't understand or accept your strength. They'll throw dirt at you, make false accusations, and try to tarnish your name, hoping it will cover up their own failures. But no matter what they try, they cannot escape the truth of who you are. Your light will forever lay bare their flaws. Your progress will highlight their stagnation, and they can't look away. Why do you think people who claim to not care about you spend so much time watching your every move? Could it be that your progress and light expose the very things they are trying to hide from the world? Their obsession with your every step only proves that they are more affected by you than they care to admit. Chosen one, the best payback is giving them no reaction, no energy, no words, not a shred of your time. As God's chosen ones, we are often faced with adversity and opposition. The world may try to provoke us, drag us into their chaos, and demand our attention. But what happens when we stop reacting? What if the best payback is giving them no energy, no words, no time at all? The most powerful response we can give is no response at all. A fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. Proverbs 29:11. When we stop giving our energy to those who seek to bring us down, we take away their power. Nothing hurts more than realizing that they were never truly in competition with us. Could it be that your success is the most powerful response to their cruelty? Think of Michael Jordan, who, despite facing criticism and challenges throughout his career, never let negativity distract him. His focus was always on the game. His success on the court was his ultimate response to every doubter. Jordan's greatness showed the world that when you focus on your purpose, no external noise can break your stride. Have you ever noticed how their criticism fades when you keep rising above it? The world will try to stir chaos around us, but we, as chosen ones, stand firm, knowing that we have nothing to prove. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 12:21. Instead of engaging with negativity, we rise above it. Like a mirror, our actions reflect only what is real. Just as a mirror doesn't apologize for revealing the truth, neither should we apologize for our existence or success. Oprah Winfrey is another example of someone who has faced much criticism and hardship, yet chose to rise above it all. Instead of engaging with her detractors, Oprah turned every obstacle into a stepping stone, building a legacy of empowerment and success. Her life is a testament to the power of focusing on one's mission rather than the distractions of others. High pressure creates diamonds and fire forges steel, so accept the pressure. Pressure is often seen as something to avoid, but for those of us who are chosen, it is the very thing that strengthens us. Why do we fear pressure when it is the very thing that shapes us into something greater? Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. James 1:2-3. Every trial, every hardship, every betrayal is not a sign of weakness, but an opportunity for growth. The world believes they can shatter us, but they fail to realize that we were not made to break. We were forged by the fire, and each blow we endure only makes us tougher. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling, who faced rejection after rejection before finally finding success with the Harry Potter series. She didn't crumble under the weight of her struggles. Instead, she embraced them, using every setback as motivation to keep pushing forward. Rowling's resilience is a reminder that the pressure we face is simply part of the process that shapes us into something unbreakable. What would happen if you embraced every hardship as an opportunity for growth? In 1 Peter 1:17, it is written, "These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed." Just like gold is refined in fire, we too are refined by the trials we face. The more pressure we experience, the stronger and more resilient we become. The storms they bring only serve to sharpen us. Have you noticed how each challenge only made you stronger, more focused, and more determined? They believed they could shatter you, that if they piled on enough hardship, betrayal, and obstacles, you'd finally buckle. But they missed something crucial. We weren't built to collapse. For nothing will be impossible with God. Luke 1:37. Every attempt to weaken us has only strengthened us. Their efforts to shatter our resolve only made us more determined. They didn't realize that the very forces they unleashed were the same forces that shaped us into something too resilient to break. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a prime example of someone who faced countless hardships but never allowed them to define him. From being rejected from football to struggling in his early wrestling career, The Rock turned every setback into a stepping stone. His rise to stardom is a testament to the fact that when we embrace the challenges we face, the world's attacks cannot touch us. Karma, or divine justice, ensures that our success is the greatest retaliation against those who try to tear us down. Do you think the pain you've endured could be the catalyst for the greatness you're about to achieve? Isaiah 54:17 reminds us, "No weapon that is fashioned against you shall succeed, and you shall confute every tongue that rises against you in judgment." The weapons they form against us will never prosper, because we have been made strong by our trials. Every attempt to knock us down will only result in us rising even higher. The more they shoved you, the sturdier you became. The more they tried, the more they realized they were failing, because each time they thought it was over, you emerged with renewed strength. The reason they don't understand why their tactics no longer work is because they've never been through real forging themselves. They have no idea what it means to be refined by fire, designed to withstand the chaos that life throws at us. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Isaiah 40:29. While they hoped to break us, God used their actions to build us up. Elon Musk, for instance, faced ridicule and doubt when he introduced electric cars and pursued space exploration. But instead of collapsing under the pressure, Musk used the negativity as fuel to achieve things that seemed impossible. His persistence, despite the obstacles, proves that the greater the opposition, the greater the resilience we develop. What if the challenges you face right now are setting you up for the success you've always dreamed of? When they tried to make us question our path, we became more steadfast. The righteous man may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all. Psalm 34:19. Every attack, every insult, every betrayal only served to propel us toward our true purpose. They wanted us to feel weak, to feel insignificant, but instead we became invincible. Every attempt to shake our confidence only solidified it. In the end, we know that their fear of our success has nothing to do with us, but with the truth that they cannot defeat us. As chosen ones, we will always rise. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. Chosen one, the moment you realized none of that mattered, when you stopped caring, reacting, justifying, that's when you became the greatest threat they've ever encountered. As God's chosen ones, the moment we stop reacting to the noise around us, we step into our true power. Have you ever noticed how your power grows when you stop engaging with those who seek to provoke you? The moment you stop caring about their tricks, stop justifying yourself, you became the very thing they feared most. Their attempts to shake you no longer faze you, and now they're left scrambling, uncertain of what to do next. Why do you think they're so terrified of your silence and confidence? Knowing your own power, you cannot be swayed, cannot be rattled. The more they try, the more ridiculous their actions appear. Every betrayal, every obstacle, every plot against you has only served to mold you into something they cannot touch. Have you realized how each challenge only made you stronger? You are already victorious, not because they stopped attacking you, but because their attacks no longer matter. What if the greatest victory is the one where their words, their plotting, no longer even reach you? They tried to engulf you in flames, but you became the fire itself. How is it that what was meant to destroy you only transformed you into something even more powerful? They unleashed storms, yet you emerged as the rolling thunder. They tried to bury you, forgetting that you were a seed destined to grow. Every attempt to break you has only proven how unbreakable you really are. Have you noticed how their efforts have only sharpened you and made you rise higher? And now, they're the ones cracking. You can blow out a candle, but the sun will keep blazing, no matter who despises it. What if you stopped trying to explain your light and simply allowed it to shine on its own? They watch you, scrutinize your every move, desperately trying to figure out how you carry so much power. But the truth is, they're not afraid of you. They're afraid of their own frailty when compared to your strength. They cling to the idea that maybe you're just like them, that you can be shaken or broken, but you're not on their level. How do you think it feels for them to realize that they'll never be able to bring you down to their level? That knowledge corrodes them inside. They'll try to imitate your style, copy your words, or even replicate your outward achievements. But they'll never capture the core of your energy, the essence that makes you who you are. Have you ever wondered why they can never quite duplicate the essence of your strength? That's the reason they talk, plot, and search for weaknesses. Why do you think they're so obsessed with finding a hole in your armor? They assume there must be one, but instead they keep running into a solid wall and a fire too intense to extinguish. They're scared that no matter how hard they try, they will never stand where you stand. How does it feel to realize that they can't defeat what they can't even comprehend? They want to dim your shine, but they don't realize that your light doesn't rely on their approval. What if you knew that your light is unstoppable, regardless of who tries to put it out? It's not up for negotiation. You could vanish for ages, say nothing at all, and they'd still feel your influence. Have you ever thought about how your presence lingers, even in your absence? That's the height of genuine power. You don't have to prove yourself. You are the proof, and it destroys them inside. They wait in the shadows, hoping for your downfall. What if their expectations are the very thing that ensures their failure? But all they witness is a force they cannot conquer. Your energy isn't something they can grab or destroy. It's not something they can take apart. Why do you think they fear your energy so much? It's a force that can never be taken away, and they'll fear it for as long as they exist. And have you noticed how every attempt they make to hurt you blows up in their face? Could it be that their own bitterness and hatred are the very things that destroy them? How their envy circles around to poison them instead of you? That's not random luck. It's balance. What if the universe is simply aligning things so that justice is always served? The universe doesn't reward envy or elevate deception. It sets things right, ensuring that whatever is meant for you will remain yours. Beloved chosen one, as we come to the close of this journey together, remember this: no matter how much they scheme or spread rumors, they will never be able to occupy your position. They will never command your energy. The road you walk was never paved for them. They tried to shrink you by casting doubt, to bury you under their endless chatter. But all they've done is make you stronger. You were always destined to rise. And now they can only watch as you continue to shine. Now they're tormented, not by what you've accomplished, but by their own failure to accomplish anything. They had the same hours, the same chances, yet they wasted them in envy and hatred, while you grew stronger and more resilient. Their illusion of control over your destiny has crumbled. But your energy? It was never in danger. Only their delusion was. So let them tremble, let them gossip, let them wait for a collapse that will never come. Their wait will be endless, because they were never a true obstacle. They were simply a reflection of their own fears. They thought they could defeat you with envy, but in the end, it was their own defeat. You, beloved chosen one, were made to stand above, to guide and to excel. They can never change that. If this message has resonated with you deeply, if you feel this truth in your soul, show your presence. Hit the like button, subscribe, and pass this message on to another chosen soul. The more of us who stand together, the louder the universe resonates. Keep going forward, keep aiming higher, and keep winning. So, my beloved chosen family, your love and support inspire us to continue creating meaningful content just for you. If our words have touched your heart today, we humbly ask for your support by clicking the Super Thanks button on your YouTube screen. Every bit of your kindness, whether you donate or not, means the world to us and helps us keep going. Thank you for being the amazing support system that you are. We are forever grateful for your love and encouragement. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and goodbye.